Hey everyone, it's Cody here with How I See It, where I inspire you every day to see the world how I see it. Let's make a quick little patriotic bow using 4 different ribbons and a bow maker. I'm going to be using 2 2.5-inch ribbons and 2 1.5-inch ribbons. All of the ribbons are wired. You can find links to all my favorite shops and more in the caption of this video, so make sure you guys are checking that out. So I've selected some fun colors that are in a patriotic theme. I have a red and white polka dot, which is very pretty. I have a flip-flop print, that's super fun. Then I have a solid red. And then I have this fun pattern as well that's in red, white, and blue. And it also has this tealish turquoise color as well, a little teal. Love those, and you can see how these all work together very nicely with the polka dots tying in with the polka dots here. Then we have all of our different stripes and polka dots on this that ties in with our other flip-flops. So everything coordinates very pretty. So I'm going to be starting off with my largest ribbons first, and I have these laid out in a position you can kind of see where I have kind of my red polka dot, and then I have a themed ribbon. So that's the flip-flop. Then I have a solid, and then I have a themed. So every other ribbon here is a themed ribbon. So I'm gonna start off with my polka dots first. I am using the bow maker. You don't have to use the bow maker, but I like to use it kind of like an extra pair of hands. I always just throw a pipe cleaner in there as well. And one thing about me is I do not use the spool holder. I'm not a fan of the spool holder, but hey, if you like the spool holder, by all means, use the spool holder. So I'm gonna do long tails on this bow. I'm gonna do 20-inch tails. So I'm gonna measure out to 20 inches. I'm gonna insert that into my bow maker center, and I'm gonna give it a twist. So that way I have a long tail coming down towards me. And then I have not so pretty ribbon, so the not so pretty side facing upwards here on the left side. So I went in on the right, flipped my ribbon. Now I'm gonna be making me a loop. So I am going to make me a 6-inch loop. So I'm gonna measure out to 6 inches, come back to the middle, twist, and push down. I like to put my finger here with a little bit of pressure, and then I'll pull that ribbon to make sure that that kind of measures right there at that 6-inch mark on my bow maker. Now I'm gonna repeat the same process on the other side. Measure out to the 6, kind of push that down, come back to the middle and twist. Right? Then I'm going to make one more, and then I'm just gonna push this ribbon down. So I'm not going to twist this ribbon because this is actually the last layer that I'm going to be making. So then I'm gonna come back out with another long tail. I'm gonna give this a snip. So I just used the tail before it to measure where I was gonna cut it off at. So I want this to have nice long tails. Then I'm gonna go in with my pretty flip-flop ribbon. And since we went in on the right side with our first layer, I'm gonna go in on the left side with my second layer. And I'm again gonna use the tail that's already there as my guide for measuring. Twist and insert that in. And then I'm going to repeat the same process. So very repetitive here. Twist and push down. And I'm just using what we've already done as my little guide. Nothing crazy. Doing 3 loops. And then this is number 3. So now we've kind of offset our loops. So with our red ribbon, our polka dot ribbon, we had 1 loop on the right side, 2 loops on the left. With our flip-flop ribbon, it's reverse. We have 2 loops on the right and 1 loop on the left. Now I'm not worried about this flip-flop ribbon being upside down. Not something that I'm too pressured about for the purposes of this video. But if you're someone who wanted this tail to be facing the right way, you could just measure off about an extra 2 inches, snip this off, flip it around, insert that in, and then you have a tail going the right way. I don't get too hung up over it though. All right, now we're gonna go into our 1.5-inch ribbons. And we're just gonna do the same old thing. Super simple, but we just completed our pattern. So we're going back in on the right side with this one so that we'll have one loop on the right, 2 loops on the left. Measure out and cut our tail. And then it's time for our last layer. So we're going to grab that last 1.5 inch ribbon, twist and insert, and get going with our loops. One loop. Two loops. And 3 loops. Just like so, and come back out with my tail. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel up under here, and I'm going to grab that pipe cleaner that we put in there, and I'm going to kind of spin it around so that I've got it in between the loops in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to crisscross those like that. That's just going to kind of help me hold this and make it nice and tight. That way when I pick it up, my loops don't fly everywhere. Whip my bow around, push it down. We'll pull that ribbon nice, or the pipe cleaner nice and tight. And I'm gonna twist, twist, twist that around. So now I've got a nice stacked bow. And I'm gonna twist, twist, twist. I'm gonna clip off some of this excess. And I'm gonna add me on another pipe cleaner or a piece of floral wire, whatever you prefer. And that's what's gonna be for us to attach this bow. So let's make it a nice long one. So let's do 2 pipe cleaners together. And just twist them together. That way we got a nice long pipe cleaner, so wherever our customer or yourself may want to display this, you've got plenty of pipe cleaner to attach it. All right, now it's time for the fun part, and that's fluffing up our bow. So I like to hold my bows with, I'm right-handed, so I'll put my loops in my left hand, and then I have the tails going towards the right. So what I like to do is I like to go and pull all of my tails down to the right. So I'll feel down the bottom of my bow. I'll start pulling these down. Like so. And then we're just gonna fluff up our loops. Just like so. Now we've got a super pretty bow. Just fluffing these up, making sure our loops are nice and rounded and pretty. Okay, Now we can go through and we can dove cut our ribbon. So let's slide this out the way. Very pretty and fluffed up. Get our gap filled in there. There we go. Pretty. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go down to the bottom of my ribbons. I'm gonna fold these wire to wire. And I'm just gonna cut them at an angle to give them a little dove cut. Something I like to do to give it a nice finished look there. Making sure they're all around the same length. Just like that, y'all. Very, very pretty. I love how it turned out. Isn't that fun? Hope you all enjoyed this little tutorial and it's inspired you to get creative with bows, y'all. Y'all be kind to one another and I'll be seeing y'all soon. Bye, y'all.